Well, hello everyone. It's Sean Ellis from Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal tonight. For some reason, our intro is not working. I don't know why. I was sitting here trying to get it to run, and it doesn't seem to fire off. So we're having some issues, or somebody's done some updates, and not sure exactly what's going on. Tonight, we have a very special guest, Mr. Richard A. Van Natta from TPS, which is Transcendent Paranormal Society. He will be on with us here in a few minutes. I'd like to give a big shout out for yesterday down at Broadhead Manor. They did a great job at the Metaphysic Expo, and I met a lot of great people there last night, so that was awesome. I'd like to give another shout out to our sponsor, WROK Radio FM from Las Vegas, Rockin' Randy, and also Miss Tracy Jones, the Paranormal White Witch. So without further ado, we'll bring on our guest here, Mr. Richard Van Natta. Hello, Rich.
How's it going, Sean? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How'd you like the expo yesterday?
It was a good time. Like I said, there's some good vendors up there. Actually, I got a couple that are going to come down to our event this weekend coming up, the Lennox Paranormal Conference down in Hopkinton, Iowa.
Yeah.
But the Metaphysical Fair, that was cool. It was a good time. There were a lot of cool people up there, like Jamie Lynn from who? It was Jamie Lynn and who that put it on?
Miss Christina Bloom.
There you go, Christina Bloom. Yeah, they did a good job, and I'd go again next year. Hopefully, they'll do it again.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Me and one of my teammates went up, and we got to meet a lot of great people up there, and a couple of the vendors I'm going to start working with a couple of them. I ran into some that
nice.
We're going to do some work together, so we're going to see how that works out as well for the team.
Yeah, hopefully one of the vendors from that yesterday, Dave Anderson, he was the T-shirt guy right next to Paranormal Exposures.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he'll be down for the Lennox conference too.
That'd be cool. He's a book author as well, wasn't he?
No, that was Ron. He was Dave Johnson was the next one over selling T-shirts.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah,
he was right next to Ron.
I went around and I kind of introduced everybody there. I kind of went live twice. We kind of had a little bit of technical difficulty on the first go around. It didn't go off until like 4 minutes in, and I was like, "Oh, great, man!"
Yeah, I know.
So we had some internet interference, or just something wasn't tripping. But anyway,
right.
So, Richard, give us a little information about you.
Well, I actually grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and Galena, Illinois, Galena is very haunted, by the way. And I got into the paranormal field mainly because I grew up in a haunted house in Galena. It was an old doctor's house. And when I remember as a kid, I would hear my door rattling and stuff, the doorknob just going to town, and growls out in the hallway and stuff. We also had like tunnels underneath the house as well. And those had a creepy feeling. So, but like I said, grew up partially in Chicago, then moved out to Galena, and then up into the Madison area for about 27 years. And then I moved back to this area again. And I joined up with TPS probably about, I think it's been 3 years now, going on 4. And we've done some pretty cool investigations. We've done Edinburgh Manor, about that place.
Right.
We've done some, and they're out of Dubuque, Iowa. So we've done the Opera House over in Dubuque. That was pretty interesting. That was like one of my first investigations with those guys. And we do the Galena Haunted Conference tour or the Galena Haunted Conference, I'm sorry. and it's the Haunted Galena Tour Company that puts that on. We've been doing that for the last 3 years too. So, and as far as getting into the paranormal, like I said, I grew up in a haunted house there in Galena, and Galena is very historical anyway, because like 9 Civil War generals came from there. General Ulysses Grant, and you were at the conference, so I mean, you got part of the background, but it's very Civil War oriented, and that town's it was bigger than Chicago at one point. The Galena River, you could probably, with a good run, jump over it right now and land on the other side, but it used to be a mile wide, so I mean, it's like all the lead from the that was mined from around in Galena was used in the Civil War. A lot of the hemp that was grown around there was used for the Civil War. So it's very historical and very haunted. So, and it was always around, so I just kind of got into it.
Yeah, that's cool. Moose Man is in the house, and one of our sponsors, Randy Stewart from WROK FM Radio from Las Vegas. Nice. He's in the house.
How's it going, guys?
Lily Satlin. She'll be on our show later this month or a little after here. We got her scheduled to come in with her team as well. So
that's Haunted Happy Hour, right?
Yeah, Haunted Happy Hour.
Yeah, they're going to be at our event as well.
Yeah, I seen them at Broadhead the last time I was up there.
Yep, for Spirits in the Spring, they were there.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was handing out cookies.
I think actually this weekend I'm going to be teaming up with them and Eternal Paranormal. I think they're going to the Rock Island Y with us. I think so. We'll be going to that this weekend.
Cool.
Yeah. So you said you grew up in a haunted house, and
yep.
When did that start? What age, and how did you feel when that was going on?
Well, I remember when I was a little kid, I was bunking in one of the bedrooms with one of my uncles and stuff, and I heard the growling going on. And he's just like, "Oh no, that's nothing. That's nothing." And I was like, I don't know if that's nothing, And I was probably, I would say about 10, I think, when I first started hearing that stuff. And I actually grew up in the same house as my dad did. So, there in Galena, and sometimes my parents would be gone with my brother and sister or whatnot for the weekend, and I'd be working or whatever. And I'd be doing the dishes or whatever, and I'd see this little girl peek around the corner. And she'd just stare for a minute, and then she'd be gone. And that was one of the things. Like I'd leave to go to work and whatever, and lock the house up, turn the lights off, like you're supposed to do. I'd come home to the house unlocked, lights on, my stereo going. It was just crazy, and a hot spot was like, I'd come up the steps and walk around. And this was like an old, like Victorian style house that we lived in. And I'd come around, and then there was a little hallway to the attic. And I always felt weird walking right through there. It just had a weird vibe to it, And so, and the attic itself too, you'd go up into the attic and it opened up like a casket. So, and there was a dark side to that, attic, and it just felt like somebody was looking at you like all the time. It was crazy.
Did you ever have anything like missing for a period of time since you knew this entity was kind of walking around?
No, nothing was missing, but like I do know that the house was exorcised twice because there was something trying to come through my sister into this realm.
Oh,
and
wow.
So it was crazy, man. I was just like, what? I wasn't around a lot sometimes because I was working or whatever, and I'd hear this after the fact. I'm just like, what? I didn't know that. Oh, and there's a kitty. Hope you don't mind. So yeah, the house was exorcised twice. I could never take a picture. I still can't take a good picture of it. It's always fuzzy. So I don't know if there's still something there. I haven't talked to the people who live in that house now, but
So the
yeah,
whole picture of the house is like fuzzy because of
yeah,
the energy around it.
I think so. Yeah, I've never been able to take a good picture of that place. Yeah, it's crazy, and there's a lot. Like I said, Galena is got all the there's water there. There's a lot of limestone. It's got all the stuff to be paranormal.
Hmm.
So it's and it is.
So, so what did your parents think about that at the time with this entity and your sister? I mean, back then you
um,
didn't really talk about stuff like that.
no, because that was like in the my sister was pretty young, so that was like I'd probably say, let's see, early '80s. So yeah, not a lot of people were talking about anything paranormal. So it was that hadn't come into effect yet. So, but yeah, like I said, mom had the house exercised a couple times, and it must have worked because Mindy's all good now, and was after the I believe the second exorcism.
So do you think more now that you're in the paranormal that now and understanding some of it? Do you think maybe it was more of an attachment instead of a possession type deal?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't, it possession, that's it doesn't happen all the time like they portray it on TV.
Right.
So I mean, that's few and far between from what I've researched and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, it could have very well been an attachment of some sort for sure. Because
Yeah. I know
there
that.
was a picture up in the attic too of the doctor who owned the house. Those old
Really?
powdered wigs with the big flash bar, big eyes and stuff. And
Wow.
I'm not even joking. It was a creepy picture to begin with. It just looked creepy because of the eyes and stuff. And we would
Mhm.
flip it over when we go up to get the Christmas stuff. Go downstairs, come back up, and that thing, I swear to God, man, was flipped back over. And it was just like, oh my God. I mean, if you were here, you could see the goosebumps on my arm when I talk about this. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy growing up in that house. And I think my grandpa was there because he was kind of a trickster and whatnot, prankster.
Right.
And I think he was the one messing with the bathroom lights and turning the stereos on. But yeah, I mean, and there was more than one there. So
Wow, that's
yeah.
interesting. You said a doctor though, right? A
Yeah.
doctor lived.
And yep, it was back like I'm trying to think when Galena was founded in the 1800s. And yeah, he was one of the medical doctors. And he I have another story for you too that gives the house just a whole new look too. Um, so when my dad it was younger and my grandparents lived in that house, there was French doors between the dining room and the living room. And my
Hmm.
grandmother didn't like those, so she had my grandpa and my dad pull those out, and they were going to put shelving units in. So when they pulled one side of the doors out, yeah, they found a little present in the wall. And it was a human skeleton that was in the wall. So I don't know if it was, and I asked my aunts and stuff too, because I was like, what, whatever, I don't know about that. But yeah, I've asked my aunties and my other uncles too, and it's a true thing. And so yeah, yeah, they had to call the police and stuff, and I have no clue what happened after that. But yeah, they pulled a skeleton out of the wall. I was just like, what? So that
Wow.
house is creepy, very very
Uh,
creepy.
Derek McFadden from Eternal Paranormal is in the house.
What's up, Derek?
Wow, finding an actual skeleton in the house.
Yeah, I was just like, what?
I've been on an investigation and teamed up with another team about a year and a half ago where they found a half a skeleton in a house that we were at, and it
Oh,
was pretty intense. But
really? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
they it was on the news. You can find it on the news if you can look it up in the Galesburg area. It was on the news, and then afterwards, a paranormal team went in that we're really good friends with, Parallax Paranormal. They
Uh,
went in and investigated, and they was like, wow, there's some stuff going on here we're not understanding, and come help us out, and see what you guys think. And we went in
For
there. It
sure.
was like a 12-hour investigation.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we found some pretty bizarre stuff in there, and we ended up taking care of what was in there because it was a bad entity in there.
Oh,
And
okay. Got you.
we ended up teaming up with them to get rid of it. So, but
Yeah.
over this our hearing, the super ears that we all use, it was coming over like murder, this, that. I won't say some
Oh,
of the other words. And
right. Right.
you can actually tell that the spirits were being held there by another spirit.
Oh,
And
okay.
but like I said, and we found some really kind of messed up stuff. We found
Sure.
newspaper clippings of John Wayne or Gacy
Hmm.
and our Manson and Charles Manson up in the attic.
Oh,
We
really? Oh my gosh.
we even sprayed luminol and found little bits of blood still left on the walls in certain locations from the luminol.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty intense.
That's crazy.
She
Never
says
found any blood yet.
anytime we can make our way up to Galena, beautiful and full of history. Yes.
Yeah, Galena is very cool, especially if you're a history buff. Check out the Historical Society's museum. It's pretty cool.
Hello, Susan Victoria from Paranormal Happy Hour.
Hello, hello.
And then we have Mr. Will Armstrong
Oh,
from
jeez.
Paranormal Exposure. Oh,
Yeah, buddy.
wait a minute. Hang on. Hang on.
Where is that guy?
I found his friend. I got Mr. Dill here.
Oh, nice. I don't have my keys in here with me. I
I
also
found
have one
Mr.
of the.
Dill.
I also have Will's pickle.
He signed the little pickle that I got.
Same.
So, but yeah, Will from
Paranormal Exposures. They're a good group.
Yeah, I love them guys. They're great. Him and
Cat and Will, you guys rock. And the rest of your gang too.
So looks about the same size. They were really picking on you hard yesterday. Well, I really kind of feel bad for you yesterday. It's a little bit. But it was fun.
Yeah. He had a killer shirt on though.
Oh yeah, especially. I think I posted a picture of Jamie Lynn Keller in that shirt he had on. So check out the webpage.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
told him I was gonna post it.
Yeah, that's a good T-shirt.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So,
Oh yeah.
Since you've been on a paranormal team and learned some of the things that you've learned now, can you share with us one of the investigations that you kind of found, how do I say, kind of bizarre or different if you had one?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot working with the TPS crew for sure. How to be, I was always respectful, when I'd be asking questions and whatnot, but I've learned how to do it more respectfully, I guess you could say.
Right.
And who's that? Hi, Pam.
Pam Harris from Serene Divines in the house. And Cat Armstrong's in the house from Paranormal Exposure.
Yes. What's up, Cat?
And she says, "Looks like you guys had a blast." Yeah, even Richard was up there this weekend.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was very fun.
Yeah,
and hopefully we can get a couple of those people down there for us at our Lennox College Paracon too. Get them down there for some vendors. And Lennox College too. That's a very Civil War era as well. Down in Hopkinton, Iowa. It's a museum. It's Delaware County Historical Society, and Kat's going to be down there this next weekend along with Will and part of her team. And I don't know if you said you had something going on this weekend, but
I had investigation this weekend.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, like I do believe Lenox College, the dean and all the male students ended up getting drafted into the Civil War.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so the college had to close down, and some of them made it through the war, went on with their families. Some of them didn't, but they still came back to school. We actually, Brandon, my partner for the Paracon, actually, Brandon Marsh, him and I were in there investigating, and we found that there was a field doctor, a field surgeon that was there, and his name was Dr. Albert Miller. And so we Brandon had a device. I can't remember which one it was, but it lit up, yes, no, and there was actually some lights on there that Dr. Miller deemed as maybes. So I mean, this was a highly intelligent entity, and so we actually got him to tell us that he was attached to his field surgeon jacket, and which was on display in the next room. So it was really crazy. And I mean, we even got it to the point where, is it on the first floor? Is it on the second floor? Is it in the attic? And it's on the first floor. And we had like a 40-minute conversation with this man. And then Brandon actually ended up meeting his present day descendants. So they had like pictures of this man and everything. And while we were actually investigating, talking to him, Brandon listed a bunch of different battles, and 2 of them he was in. And then I researched the battles, and he was listed. So I mean, it was crazy. So I mean, if you guys can get down to Lenox College this next weekend on the 27th, it's very active, and there's a lot of spirits there.
That definitely sounds interesting.
Oh
yeah.
And like I said, I've learned a lot from TPS. Those guys are very good at what they do. They're very professional. And that's Allie and Alicia, are Amanda times 2, Sandy, and you met Sandy yesterday. Sandy yesterday.
I actually met Sandy, and I actually kind of met almost all of you guys up there in Galena when I was there. So that was a good thing, because you guys were actually involved with the tours of the haunted hotel. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, we like I said, it's the Galena Haunted Tour Company that puts it on. That's Ted and Robin Williams, and they're the owners of that tour company. So they go in with the DeSoto House, and we get to investigate the DeSoto House, which was it was Grant's headquarters at one point. It was a morgue in parts of it. It was a garbage dump. I mean, it used to have 2 more floors, and people always claim on the top floor that they hear people above them, dancing or whatnot. And there's nobody up there. That's the roof, folks.
Well, here's the weird thing. When we were at the conference, I was sitting with Jamie Lynn and Kat and Will, and we were sitting there, and we were literally watching the chandelier move and kind of sway.
Oh yeah. Yep, I remember you telling me about that.
And we were just kind of keeping an eye on that. We thought that was kind of interesting with all the energy that was running around in that room. And like you said, that's the roof, right?
Yeah, so there's only the 3 floors to that place. And it used to have 2 more, and then there was a fire downtown in Galena, and they needed the bricks to rebuild part of downtown, so they took them off the top of the DeSoto House. Lincoln and Douglas had a debate up on the balcony where General Grant's room, the General Grant room is, where we investigated.
Yep.
And that room is very active too. That's usually where Sandy and Alicia stay for the conference in that room. And they've seen
quite the activity in that room. I've heard they had quite the activity in that room that night we all stayed up there in Galena.
Yeah, they did. They had, and those 2, they always end up staying in that room. So I mean, it's they I don't know if the ghosts are getting used to them or not, but yeah, they usually see this large shadow figure come out of that little. There's like a little alcove back there closet type of thing, and he usually comes out of there.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it's that room. The Mark Twain room is also one that's been haunted. Supposed to be haunted. Downstairs in the bar area, we were talking to the bartenders, and I guess they had a stack of glasses behind the bar, and they one night they just started shooting off the back of the bar from behind the bar.
I think the night we were down there in the bar, I think they kind of debunked it, but we were hearing some glasses move, and I think they said somebody was actually at the time back there washing or cleaning up at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, man. But we kind of debunked that. We got Tiffany Conley in the house from Eternal Paranormal.
What's up, Tiffy?
We got Miss Cat back in here. We can't wait to be there this weekend.
I know it's going to be fun, Cat.
And then Cat saying hi. But yeah,
hey, Cat.
It was definitely interesting at the hotel there for sure.
Yeah, it certainly was. And then we go down to 111 Main, and that was actually the first funeral parlor in Illinois, in the state of Illinois. And so there's a lot of crazy stories about that place. But I've heard Allie and I have heard footsteps like in boots running up to us on the third floor. She's had an experience where she dropped her water bottle, and something went to go grab a paper towel out of the restroom, and it's one of those sensor ones, so it wasn't like a vibration or anything. It hit the floor, and then you hear the machine go off in there, and a paper towel was ready.
Oh, wow.
Not sure if it was paranormal for sure, but it was pretty good coincidence for sure.
Well, but, if there was definitely nobody around it.
No, there wasn't. Yeah. We were trying to figure out what the noise was because the bathroom door was shut. And I went in there and I waved a hand in front of it, and I'm just like, oh, well, that was the noise, right? And Allie was like, yep, sure was. So yeah, that place is crazy. And supposedly they had a hole in the back of that room or a trap door. I mean, not a hole. Well, trap door with a hole that they would open up and just kind of dump the bodies down to the main floor. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's one of the stories from that place. But they get disembodied voices there a lot. In some of the spots, there's a lot of like the ice machine that tends to scare a few people when you're sitting in the dark and what was that? So, but that place, we've gotten quite a bit of activity, and it was with the flashlights, the old school mag lights where you just twist it a little bit.
Right.
They like those, and the cat balls. So, and if y'all out there don't know what cat balls are, they're just little balls that light up. Cat toy.
Randy didn't know what cat balls was when I was on his show, and we kind of had to educate him. He's like, "What the?" Yeah, he was going like
cat balls.
Yeah, but yeah, we told him what they were. Derek, your question? No, that's August 3rd. I will be going to the Masonic Lodge with Miss Jamie Lynn Keller and one of my teammates, and possibly one of a guest that I have invited. We're waiting for a response from her, and hopefully she gets to come with us. But yeah.
Derek, I was at the Masonic Lodge. Was it 2 weekends ago now? It was very, very cool.
Yeah,
and a little bit about that too, Sean, is that land that Keithsburg is built on was actually owned by my ancestors, my family.
Wow.
And they ended up selling it right as the Black Hawk War was starting. His name was it was John and Benjamin Van Natta, and they migrated from Pennsylvania to Ohio to Illinois. And Will Armstrong saying, "You'll love it there." But yeah, so John Van Natta came first, and then Benjamin. He bought the land, and then his brother came down, worked it with him for a while, and they bought it together and whatnot. And then as the Black Hawk War started, they sold the land, and then they like moved to like Mercer County and surrounding counties and just kind of spread out. And my family is huge. I mean, the last name, I researched it all to make sure, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, yeah. And there's a few different ways to spell my last name, but yeah, they're all related. So, and I showed Jill.
So when you were at the lodge and your family used to own it, right? The property, anyhow, right? Is that what you're saying?
The land, yeah. Yep, they owned all the land.
Did you get any kind of responses or maybe any names from that came
No,
up?
I asked too. I was like, and are there any Vanatas here? And as far as I know, I didn't get any response yet. So I still have some evidence to go over.
Yeah. Kat says 0 out of 10 recommended falling down the basement stairs at the Masonic Lodge.
Oh my gosh. But Kat will tell you something caught her because she didn't go all the way down those steps. Because I was up and ready to go grab her. I saw her going down.
I kind of heard part of that conversation yesterday, and I was like,
yeah,
wow,
she didn't go down, is what she told me. I'm just like, something caught her. And I was just like, whoa, really? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because I know Kat and we've got some similarities together with energy work that we do. And yeah, so it will definitely be interesting to see what happens when I go there as well. So
yeah,
I might even try some of scrying there and see what happens.
We got like when you come into the place through the front door, there's like a little waiting room and then another big long room. There's a couple tables sitting right there, and that's where Will, Kat, and I got a lot of activity. So you might want to check that spot out too.
Okay, so I'm just curious because I know I'm going to kind of check it out when I get there. Was there any secret rooms? I
didn't look, but there very well could be. I don't know. None of us looked, I don't think.
Being a Masonic lodge kind of like, ooh, they might have some.
I would imagine there had to be some sort of a little secret room side somewhere.
I'd be interested to see what we can find because I've noticed that some of the old buildings like that, they cover up some of the entrances. Because we were down in the Chillicothe area where they had the Underground Railroad, and there was a tunnel that went from the house to the river, and they blocked it all off. So, but yeah, so I was kind of interesting. Hello, Miss Tracy Jones, Paranormal White Witch. She is also one of the sponsors of the show as well.
Oh, cool. Hi, Tracy. Yeah, and the Galena house I grew up in, there were also tunnels in room underneath my house. So in Galena, like actually, funny story. A couple of friends of mine, we were out having a couple drinks down in Galena, and they own one of the stores down there. So he's like, "Hey, you want to go in the tunnels underneath the Galena?" And I'm like, "What? There's tunnels under Galena?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." So we went down and we had to like crawl through this little space, and then it opened up, and there's mega amounts of tunnels that run all underneath Galena. And Galena was definitely part of the Underground Railroad, and my grandpa owned a building as well for a while down on Main Street, and there was this door in the back of the room that was like, the great stuff, it's great stuffed off. So my brother and I cut that out and then opened it up, and it was tunnels. So I mean, Galena is very historical, and like I said, and it's very creepy and it's very haunted. So if you want a good creepy haunted getaway weekend, Galena is a place to go.
I know that when we were there, not only did we go to the winery, which was the funeral home, you said, one of the first funeral homes, but we also went to the outpost that night as well.
Oh, the Dowling House, yeah,
the Dowling House.
Yep.
When you guys were there, did you guys get a lot of activity there that night?
Oh yeah, we actually got We were using a lot of old school stuff like dowsing rods, and we used a couple cat balls, but it was mainly just dowsing rods. And yeah, they were answering us pretty, I would say, steady throughout the night that we were there. They actually lit up a couple of the cat balls too, but they mainly go for the old school things,
Yeah,
like dowsing rods.
I think if I remember right, I know I did a scrying session there, and Kat got a picture of it, and she said I looked like an older gentleman after the picture. And then
Oh,
I actually took one of hers as well and caught that, and it's like on our page from the time when we went.
yeah.
And I also think we got some activity. I don't know if it was the cat balls that somebody had out there, but I do remember them saying that the chandelier in the upstairs, one of the bedrooms, like the thicker wooden one, was slightly moving up there, kind
Oh
of
yeah.
rocking, if I remember right. Um, but yeah,
Yep.
that's some of the activity that we got out of there. And like I said, that's a very interesting place with all the old stuff there as well.
Oh
And
yeah. It used to be I think a trading post and whatnot, or a general store, or both actually, probably.
yeah, and
Um,
me and Kat even did some energy work there, and it was pretty cool.
oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, Galena's a good spot. Um, Iowa, I think all Iowa's haunted, in my opinion. There's a lot of good spots in Iowa too. And like I think one of the first investigations that I did with the team was at Edinburgh. And when we did the Opera House in Dubuque, I wasn't on the team yet, but Edinburgh, I've had lots of experiences there, and a lot of them with Sandy. So, and we've
Right.
heard disembodied voices, disembodied whistling. Um, we've seen shadow figures down in the basement, and we were sitting in the laundry room, looking down the hallway towards the cafeteria, and things are moving from left to right, blocking out the little bit of light that's there. And that place is crazy, and it's fun to go there too. I mean, there were times when Sandy and I weren't there, and the spirits were, "Hey, where's Rich? Where's Sandy?" They were asking for us when we're not even there. Which is crazy. I mean, that's where I met Jerry. He was one of the patients there, I do believe.
Right.
Is that right? Is Kat still in here? Was Jerry one of the patients there? I don't know if she's still in here.
Did I miss Kat? Oh yeah, Kat. She might still be in here.
Okay, I don't remember, but Jerry was what the name came through on the spirit box. So, but yeah, I mean, I've been touched at Edinburgh. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Williams.
Yes, he is. Okay, thanks, Will. Yep. So I've been touched there. There's some weird energies in there sometimes, but it's a cool place to go. It's most of the time it's pretty chill, but you get a lot of activity. Like one time when we were out there, we a group of friends, Sandy and mine, we went across the street to that little cemetery to check it out, see if we got anything on the thermo or get any EVPs or anything. And we're over there, and I was the last one out. Now it was, we were told, make sure you shut the door. So I'm the last one out. Boom, shut the door. I know it's shut. Checked it. So we go over to the graveyard or a little cemetery, checking stuff out, and all of a sudden we hear boom, boom, boom. The door is just banging 3 times.
Huh.
So my friend Rob and I, we run back over there, and Sandy's like, I saw something move from left to right on the front porch. So Rob goes and runs over there, nothing there. I go around to the backside, the door's open. And I know I shut it, and it was just like, what the hell? Did they just want us to come back over because there wasn't anything going on in the cemetery? But yeah, it was crazy, and I've seen flashes of light in there. It's like I said, I've heard my name called. I don't know. It's just weird. And I guess a lot of times too, I get more female entities talking to me than male. but I don't know, whatever.
Mhm.
You know, it is what it is with that.
It
But,
happens. I mean, I've
you
been in
know,
some locations that it's come across that it doesn't even like me being in the same room. And
right. Yeah.
so when I
You know,
leave, and then when I leave, they just start squawking and talking. And I was like, okay, I'll just go chill somewhere for a little bit and I'll go check out some other stuff. I mean,
oh
if you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to talk to me, that's fine. You know, I'm good with that. I'll let the
yeah.
team take care of stuff, you know. It says, I think it's a building that studies you and us studying it when we go in. Sounds weird, but that's what I feel.
No,
So it's
it
like
doesn't
we
sound
study them and we study them.
right. Because like when I
I,
investigated
I
Will,
gotta kind of,
go ahead, Sean.
yeah. I was gonna say I kind of agree with that. As when we go to investigations, I mean, I think every team, you know, I think the spirits there are checking us out just as much as we're trying to check them out.
Oh
So
yeah, most
I
definitely.
think that's probably a really good statement without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you know if they interact with things, they have to see them, right? I mean, at least
Right.
they see something that they can interact with. If it's us or our equipment, you know, I mean, or both. You know, it could be both, I'm sure. But you know, and Will poses questions like, you know, do you still have eyes and stuff like that? I mean, do you? Can you still see? What do we look like, you know, to them? So, you know, there's lots of questions to
I
ask, you
kind of
know.
heard that conversation that Will was talking about yesterday about when he asked, "What do we look like?" And I think his answers were zeros and ones.
Oh yeah, he said
If
number.
that's what,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, like numbers are a matrix number. So I thought
Right.
that was interesting when he came up with that. You know, it's possible because some people that we are in a matrix with how
Yeah, I
things
get.
are, and even
Yeah.
even Tesla even thought that.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah. Will just said it was
yeah,
numbers.
it was numbers.
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. I've never heard that when stuff like that, but I also find out, you know, when we're using our equipment, and if they're a really old spirit and they don't understand what it is, and after you kind of explain it, they seem to interact with it more.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not sure what it is because back then they didn't have that stuff, and they're like kind of leery. But it's like, okay, you tell
Yeah.
them what's going on, and then the next thing
Yeah.
you know, they're either hanging on to it, and like you said,
Light.
tell them red for yes or blue for no or whatever the colors you
Oh,
pick, and see what if you get positive answers.
Kat said, well, when you think about it, frequencies are measured in numbers. That's true.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very
Good point,
true.
Kat.
I
For
do
sure.
agree with that. I do agree with that as well.
Yep.
Has there ever been a place that you've been with the team that you got there? It's like, oh shit, we're not going to stay very long here.
Um, well, most of the team was with us when we went to Missouri State Penitentiary. It wasn't like a team event or anything, but
Right.
most of the team was with us. That place was crazy. I mean, there was tons of activity. I sat in the gas chamber chair too. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, we had smell, you know, phantom smells. We had disembodied voices, and some voices that weren't even disembodied. It was just like right next to you. So we went in July, and we were having cold spots. There's no AC in this building, so you know, cold spots in about 105-degree prison in death row. We also had a ex Joliet prison guard with us, and he had his gear on and whatnot, and his stick that he would use for running down the bars and whatnot. Oh my gosh, Sean. I've never heard my REM pod make the noises it made. My cat balls were just going crazy. I mean, people were saying, I smell booze. Sandy smelled booze so bad that it made her ill. You know, she had to leave. I mean, it was crazy. You know,
I
it was just
suppose
like,
I suppose it was the smell of that jailhouse booze they make that's
it
got
was,
that
yeah, she's
pungent odor.
uh, hooch is what they
Yeah,
call it, from what the one of the guards, actually the two tour guides are ex guards from the prison too. So, um, but yeah, that place was definitely pretty crazy. Um, and like I said, there's a lot of activity there. Um, and with the team, let me think here. Well, I mean, our haunted conferences usually at the DeSoto House are pretty active. You know, I mean, um, though there, Edinburgh, we usually have a good time there as well. Trying to think of where else we've really gone. Um, I mean, most of the time, you know, we've done a lot of homes, you know, residencies and stuff too. So,
right.
uh, and
But has there ever been one you got there? It's like,
um, I'm trying to think. I mean, the first time I went to Edinburgh, I was like, whoa.
yeah,
You
there's
know, this
places I will agree. You step out on the property and it's like that
yeah,
energy just kind of like, whoa, it catches you until you get your breath. I will agree with
yeah,
some of the places for it without a
oh
doubt.
yeah. And like I said, I've done a lot of stuff with Jamie now too. And like the Washara County Jail up there where Ed Gein was held for those 4 days, that place was pretty crazy too. I'm not gonna lie about that. We were sitting
That
on one
one
of
on
the
my that is on my list.
yeah, check that out, man. It's really cool. We were Jamie and I were sitting in one of the cells, and we had a cat ball sitting like fairly close to me. So I made sure, you know, I was bouncing around, make sure I wasn't going to set it off if I moved or anything, and I didn't. So she was asking questions, and this ball kept lighting up right next to me. And that place was creepy. That was kind of a wow feeling there too. That was it. It had some weird energy to it. Plus, we went to all the different Ed Gein places, you know, like where he actually shot that woman at the hardware store.
Right.
That place had a weird vibe to it. That was a definite whoa moment too. Um, and the townies up there don't like anybody poking around. We had two people stop and ask what we were doing.
Hmm.
Yeah, what are you guys doing here? We're thinking about buying the building. Yeah, so because we went up I forget what's his name, Scott Bowser, is that right? The dude who wrote the Ed Gein books that were on sale yesterday.
Yeah, I think so. I think
I
so. I
think
think
that's
that's
his name, Scotty Bowser. Um, yeah, I guess he's had incidents up there where people have, you know, pulled guns on him and stuff because he's snooping around about Ed Gein. Yeah, they don't like that stuff up there to this day. So that
wow.
you just got to be careful when you go to that one. But you know, and that's another thing when you're doing your paranormal. Yeah, Cat said Scott Bowser. Thank you, Cat. Um, and that's one thing too. When you're in this field, you gotta be careful. You know, especially like if you're doing a home or something. I've talked with Jason Hawes before about, you know, how he had to physically knock a dude out because that dude was trying to keep him on property. You know, and that's just crazy to me. You know, but it happens. People are crazy these days.
Uh, Randy, I think you were in SpongeBob SquarePants' facility if that happened to you there, buddy. He's being funny.
I got crabs in jails. Nice.
I think he was down in the Bikini Bottom there.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, he likes to joke.
Oh, that's
So,
fine.
but
You know, and
yeah,
yeah. So I mean,
that's really cool.
oh yes.
Have you ever noticed, and you guys got your team shirts that you wear all the time as well. Have
Oh
you
yeah.
ever noticed if you're wearing your team shirt and you're with your teammates and stuff, and you walk into a store, how people just kind of go like this?
I don't know. It's just
Very few will actually come up and start talking to you.
yeah. You know, and then once they see like the paranormal society or something with paranormal on it, then they're like, "Oh, do you hunt ghosts?" Well, yeah, we try to. You know, we try and talk to the other side. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. sometimes we sit in the dark for 4 hours and talk to no one. So yeah, like I said, it's not like it's all it is on TV. They have to keep your attention span. But when you're really out there doing it, it takes a little bit longer to do. Because
setting up and getting things rolling. And yes,
setting up,
Derek,
tearing down, yeah, the whole thing.
See you on Saturday. I will be with them guys, and I think a couple of my teammates are going, and we will be at the Rock Island. I think
thanks, Derek.
Okay. So
cool.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a good time, because I've heard there's some stuff there as well that likes to push people around. If I remember,
at the Rock Island, down in Rock Island, is that what you said? Oh yeah, I've investigated there a few times. So that's a good venue too.
Wants a crew to come to Vegas for some ghost hunts. Yeah, Randy wants us to come down to Vegas. They've got some haunted trains down there that are all linked together and stuff that's happened on them that I don't know. Might have to round up a few of the crew and some of the others from the teams and go down there one day.
I'd be down. Vegas? What? I'd be down.
It would be the same at the location. Do spirits see our ghost T-shirts and get freaked out about it?
Oh no, there's more paranormal people coming in. Right? You never know, Will. They see all those black T-shirts coming in with all the crazy stuff on it. They may get a little frightened.
on the old team, we actually went to Olive Garden one night to eat on the old team that I was on. Sure. And we had all the waitresses and waiters and stuff out there around the table asking us all sorts of questions. We were taking pictures of them and stuff, and nobody else was getting their food, but we were getting all the attention. So
yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool. So,
oh yeah, that happened. We were down in Oskaloosa, Iowa, at Old Mercy Hospital.
Yeah,
and I think we started to talk about that yesterday. That's where I danced, if that rings a bell, with Kat and the gang. Yeah, that was just a crazy, crazy evening. And the more perverse the questions Kat asked, the more our equipment would go off there. I don't know why. It was a flop house at one point. So I don't know what was going on there. We found some interesting things in a sink down in the basement. Yeah. That's also where I had an interesting Estes method that I was doing. And like I said, once again, it was a female, and I don't know what was asked, but what came through my headphones, it was like silent, and then I'm dead. It was a young girl, and I was just like, whoop those off. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And then I put them back on again, and then I didn't get any more responses after that. But it was clear as a bell. And like I said, if you were here, you could see my, my arm hair standing up. That was a creepy experience there.
Here's a question for you. You guys used the Estes methods before, right?
Oh yeah, we use it quite often.
Okay. Have you ever experienced any one of the teammates by chance starting to act a little strange when it was going on, or even after the fact that it's happened?
I wouldn't say they acted strange, but some of our teammates are more in tune with the Estes than others, mm-hmm. and they get more responses and whatnot. But when I don't know how many have done an Estes, but when you're doing that, you get into it, and all you're hearing is that, so it's, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think anybody's acted any different after the fact or anything like that.
I guess the reason why I'm asking, because like I said, just in general, because everybody perceives things different in how they translate stuff. Like you said, some people can really get into it. Some people it's like, what? And I guess it was just a question just of curiosity.
Yeah, I've never noticed anybody acting weird after an Estes session or anything. You come out of it and you're like, did any of that make sense? I mean, did stuff come together right for you? And a lot, most of the time, parts of it did make sense. And then, like when we did the Opera House, over in Dubuque.
Mhm.
It was Allie and Brandon. I think it was Allie and Brandon, and we were sitting out in the audience. You know, they were up on stage. We were in the audience, and we were asking questions, and then all of a sudden they were talking to each other, these two spirits, and it
Hmm.
was so weird. And it ended up being a mother and daughter who were there for however long as
Oh
spirits, didn't even
wow.
realize that they were there together. So yeah, and I was just like, whoa, you know, that was crazy. I'd never seen that happen before, you know, where the spirits just take over the conversation and start talking, you know, to each other.
Right.
And you know, it was crazy, but it was cool though. I mean, I was just like, wow. And that's happened to us in a couple of different Estes methods where they've started talking to each other instead of listening to us. So it's interesting what that Estes can do.
Yeah, like I said, it's all like I said. I like talking to other teams and listening to their methods and how they do things, and even experimenting with our stuff when we go out once in a while. We'll come up with some weird stuff once in a while, and
Oh yeah,
but like I said, I think it's great when teams can actually get together and talk about things because you get different ideas, you get different
yeah,
methods, you can come up with new ideas of a lot of stuff that maybe you never even thought of. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Would
yeah,
this have worked on the last investigation or one before that we didn't have any response at all?
right.
I mean, I mean,
Yeah, there's
we've been in like an investigation before. We wasn't getting any responses at all, and we started playing music from that error,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah,
then we started getting responses. So I thought that was really cool.
yeah. We had that happen at Edinburgh too with whoa, we were doing all that type of stuff with the era of music and whatnot, and it does work, you know, because you don't know a lot of times what era of spirit is there. Depending, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it could be not that long ago. It could be back from 1800s. You know whatever. So you got to test the waters, I guess, with different methods. You know, so
Right.
it's and like you said, you talk to other teams and whatnot, and that's I like to do that as well. And you get different ideas on how they do it, and then you may be able to implement it into your own, and or a variation of it. So yeah, it's always good to talk to other teams and see what they have to say too.
Yeah, definitely. So I do like working with other teams, like you said. I got a
Yep,
chance to work with you just a little bit when we were up in Galena, and
yep.
we all went to lunch and we got to talking there that night and stuff
Oh
for
yeah,
dinner.
yeah.
And it was always cool hanging out with you guys. And like I
Oh
said,
yeah,
Paranormal Exposure and Jamie Lynn Keller and Eternal Paranormal and all those guys. And
for sure.
I look forward to teaming up with some other teams that'll be around as well. But I think
Oh yeah,
I think it's great. I think it's good for para unity when people can do that. And like I
for
said,
sure.
share information because we're all looking for the same thing. And who knows,
Yeah,
talking
we're
to
we're
somebody
all
else, you may end up saying, "Hey, that idea might work." You go back and oh shit, something,
yeah.
something might
Hey, it
work.
did.
Yeah,
It worked. Well, wow.
you know.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree.
So
And because we're all after the same thing. We want to know
right,
if there's something on the other side of that veil.
no doubt about it. Well, we are at the top of the hour. I know
That went
you've got,
fast.
yeah, I know it does. I will definitely like to have you back on in the future, along with some of your other teammates that we talked about
For
that
sure.
yesterday as well.
Yeah, I almost got in trouble again. But no, I like I said, it's all good. I mean, you know,
uh, I hope you don't get in trouble, but like I
no, I'm
said,
not gonna get in trouble.
but I know who you was and I know who Sandy is. I didn't really know the rest of some of the team, but
Right.
they're more than welcome to come on. We can schedule another time when the rest of the team comes on and we can have a big chat, and I'll look
Hell
forward
yeah.
to having that done as well.
For
Um,
sure.
I know that you guys got a big event coming up this week. Would you like to talk about that and put it out there for everybody to hear?
Yeah, sure. We're Brandon and myself, we're doing a paranormal conference down at the Lennox College campus down in Hopkinton, Iowa, and the Delaware County Historical Society. It's us and them doing it. All the proceeds are going to go back to the school for repairs, keeping the museum going, because there's a lot of cool stuff in there. There's a lot of Civil War stuff in there. There's Civil War uniforms, weaponry, all sorts of stuff. And, it takes a little bit to keep that stuff all going,
Yeah,
oh, yeah. And so we're going to do that on the 27th, and it starts at 10 o'clock, and I believe it goes till 5 or 6. And we're going to be doing investigations there. That'll be, I think we're charging $50 for that. And there'll be a campus investigation. Part of my team's going to be helping with that. I believe Kat and Will are going to be helping with that. And then, like I said, we're going to have food. We're going to have vendors. It's Back 40 Barbecue, I do believe, is doing some food for us. We got the Haunted Happy Hour ladies coming down. We have Dr. Foster, who is a clairvoyant, a medium. She's been on the Travel Channel and stuff, and she's going to be there with us. Jamie Lynn's coming down. Trying to think what else is going on there. Yeah, so I mean, there's going to be vendors all over the place. There's going to be tours of the campus. We're going to have T-shirts. I did some T-shirts for it, and those will be $20. It's $5 to get in, and then if you want to do the investigation and the other tours and and whatnot, you can all do that right there at the table when you get there. So, yeah, come on down, July 27th at the Lenox College. It should be a good time. And you get to investigate with me.
That would definitely be fun, guys. He's really good at what he does. And like I said, the teams that's going to be up there, they do a great job. And I highly recommend, if you need help in that area, give those guys a holler,
Yes, we do home. We never ever charge. Yeah, and we have our
charge either. So
no, that's silly. So, and we have a Facebook page, Transcendent Paranormal Societies on Facebook. It's also, I believe it's still on the web too, and you can check out. We got bios and stuff on there, and I do believe the different places that we've investigated and whatnot. And if you scroll down far enough, you can actually, on our Facebook page, you can see some of the lives that we've done. Oh, for our schoolhouse, that's the one I forgot. I don't know if you've ever been there. The Farrar Schoolhouse.
Mm-mm.
No, that's another good one. Yet. I got yelled at by the principal there during an Estes session. That was, yeah, that one's a good one. So if you guys do check out our Facebook page, scroll down to the Farrar School. That was a very, very good live.
Sounds cool. We're definitely going to have to check that one out too. Well,
alrighty.
I would like to thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Looking forward to meeting up with you guys again, and hopefully in the future our teams can merge up and we can definitely do an investigation together as well. So,
oh yeah, that Vegas thing. I'd do that for sure, man. That would be fun as hell.
Randy's definitely good twisted my arm for that one, so it may be in the works. I don't know if we get it done this year, but it's definitely going to probably be in the works. I think if
I would definitely be I definitely would want to do that. That would be cool. That'd be very fun.
Yeah, so it's definitely sure. Gonna check the comments real quick for the last ones here. Excited for the Lenox College show.
Cool.
And woohoo!
Oh, all right. That's another one of the ladies from there. I think. Yep. I'm on my phone, guys, so I'm like trying to see everything. Yeah.
From Paranormal Happy Hour, I think that's what it's called. They'll be on a show here. Let's see. Oh, Haunted Happy Hour. That's
yep, the Haunted Happy Hour ladies. Yes, and like I said, they're going to be at Lenox College too.
I know I've got two teams' names that are very close, so I'm sorry if I mixed them up a little bit. because,
Right.
like I said, they're haunted happy hour, and the other one's paranormal happy hour. So,
Oh, that's right. Yep,
forgive me,
that's right.
guys. So forgive me, guys, but yeah, they're really, really close. And yes, they are the haunted happy
Yep,
hour,
there she goes. Haunted
and they
happy hour.
will
Whoop,
actually
whoop.
be on our show. He will
Yes,
actually be
yes.
on the show in 2 weeks, so I'm looking
Oh,
forward to
sweet.
seeing those guys as well.
Cool.
So, yeah. So,
It's okay, Sean. They
like
said.
I said, thank you. Don't beat me. Don't beat me. But like I said, Richard, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. It was great to have you on. I'm going
Like I said,
to
thanks
set
for
you
having me.
backstage here for a few minutes. I'm going to set you
Alrighty.
backstage for a little bit. And like I said, this is Richard A. Van Netta with
Transcendent Paranormal Society.
Transcending Paranormal. I had to get my notes here. Like I said, I wanted to say just TPS, but Transcendent Paranormal Society instead of just
Yes.
TPS. But
Yes.
yeah, they have a really great team. And like I said, check them out. And we have a last minute here. Hello, Nikki Cameron. She's from Australia. She's a really cool person.
Oh, nice.
You get a chance to check her out. She's got a great team as well.
Awesome.
So I will set you backstage here and
Thanks, everybody.
close out the show, and I'll talk to you here in a few minutes. All righty. I had a great time here talking with Richard. I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. He's a really cool guy. Check out his team, Transcendent Paranormal Society. They're on Facebook. Check them out. They have a great team. And also, next week, we have something kind of special in the works. We have Mr. Drew Cacciere. He is the director of a show, When Night Comes, from a web series that's on the web series, and he may even have a few guests come with him. So we're looking forward to having Drew on the show next week. So stay tuned for that and check it out. And like I said, we're looking forward to having him. And like I said, we had a little bit of technical difficulties earlier with our banner a little bit, but let's see if this works here. We'll end the show with this. Everybody have a great night. And,
secrets time, cryptic signals in the air, showman chats, none compare. Shows tells a tale so bold, computer lights burning cold, podcast streaming through the mist, welders' hands create a twist, running with the wolf pack now. Bigfoot wolves, we can't back down. Werewolves howling at the moon. Cemeteries tales in June. Mysteries unfold so dark. Shaman leaves his cryptic mark. Echoes through the cyberspace. Truth or myth, we start to chase. Running with the wolf pack now. Bigfoot rolls, we can't back down. Werewolves howling at the moon. Cemeteries tales in June. Mysteries unfold so dark. Shaman leaves his cryptic mark. Echoes through the cyberspace.
Have a good one, guys. See you later.